Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Ian Davidson. I'm a marketing manager at Wireless Logic, and I'll be joined later in the Q&A section by the product manager at Wireless Logic, Pritam. And then after my introduction, we'll hear from Udi and Noam from our technology partners at Shield-IoT. So first, a little housekeeping. We are recording this session and we will be taking questions. We'll address the questions at the end of the session, but please feel free to enter those as they come to you in the chat at any point during the session. We'll get to them at the end. So for those of you who don't know Wireless Logic, we are an IoT connectivity services provider. And our vision is to fast track our customer success by enabling their ambitions through seamless and secure IoT services. You should note that I said IoT services and not SIMs, not connectivity. Those remain important components of what we do as a business, but it's the value-adding services we wrap around that connectivity which differentiates. Today we'll talk about security. And I'll start by quickly giving you a refresh or an introduction to the Wireless Logic IoT security framework, and then set it up for our partners at Shield-IoT to introduce themselves and then demonstrate how their technology, their AI-driven anomaly detection can provide threat management and give early warnings of IoT cyber attacks. So most weeks we hear about a new cyber attack, and even password management platforms like LastPass are being successfully attacked, and which isn't great. These stats are a fairly recent sample collection of reports from credible sources in our industry, which when taken as a whole really highlight the different types of damages caused by successful cyber attacks. They can be measured in a number of ways. Could be cost, of course, dollars, euros, measured in downtime, the recovery time, ransomware payments, and more difficult to quantify, but perhaps the greatest risk of all would be damage to reputation and brand value. And this is why governments are legislating. It's why enterprise procurement processes are getting more challenging and more robust when it comes to cybersecurity. And it's also why security is consistently a top 3, if not number 1, consideration for businesses deploying IoT solutions. So thinking of reputation and security, Wireless Logic has been pioneering in the IoT space for more than 20 years, and we've accumulated that experience and that insight to create an IoT security framework, which has 3 main elements: defend, detect, and react. The framework is loosely modeled on other industry approaches like ETSI and NIST, but we look at the challenge through a secure connectivity lens, so it's a bit different in that respect. But it's similar. It promotes a 360-degree approach to security because the threats that we see in industry are constantly evolving, and because robust security requires technology approaches, but also involves processes, people, and systems. So the framework is 16 provisions in total. You can see them on the right-hand side. And of course, there are Wireless Logic solutions behind some of the provisions, not all. In other areas, we draw on our partners, such as Shield-IoT, and other complementary resources to complete the framework. We use it in a very consultative way with our customers to help them assess their capacity for risk, where they have coverage and where they don't. Depending on the gaps, we might refer or leverage partner capabilities. And in a previous webinar, we were joined by Copperhorse, and in this webinar by Shield-IoT. So we'll look at each of the segments in just a little bit more detail now, starting with defend and specifically with identity. Identity is primary importance in all networking scenarios. The Mirai botnet was successful because attackers were able to guess usernames and passwords. And that's a task made easier because the use of universal default passwords was quite prevalent. It still happens today. It hasn't completely disappeared. So that's, that's an identity issue which needs resolving. For IoT devices connecting to cellular networks and for that matter, cloud networks, any networking application, identity comes in the form of pre-shared keys or probably certificates, which are used to establish secure connections with servers. And the SIM, of course, is an extremely cost-effective, convenient, and safe way to store, protect, and manage security credentials, keys, and certificates. And embedding the credentials in the SIM is a well-established and secure process, not any different from bank and credit cards, remember. So that same security level that comes from that banking world can be applied to IoT. Now, what we're talking about here is a GSMA standard called IoT Safe, which we'll dive into deeper in a future webinar. Just wanted to set the scene today. The next defense segments includes a range of provisions covering secure communication, resilience, being able to securely manage software updates. These things are all mandatory. Keeping devices and connections private using techniques like private APNs and VPNs is important and actually not difficult or even overly expensive to implement if you're working with the right partner. Resilience is also a big a big factor as well, and that includes things like geographic and network redundancy with automatic failover capabilities. These are standard features from Wireless Logic and from a lot of the cloud providers as well. But what about your devices, people, and processes? We've seen from some industry examples, like Target was one where actually third-party maintenance processes was the weakness. So it's vital to choose partners and suppliers with a strong reputation, strong security credentials around not only their technology, but people and processes as well. The next segment is detect. And this is where we're going to focus today. Breaches happen and they'll continue to happen. IBM once quoted, and there was another, I think, UpGuard, another security analyst, quoted something very similar. They both estimated the average time from a security breach to detection is around 200 days. It's like 7 months. That's a stat from 2022, so it's current. and no kidding, right? So 7 months you might have someone poking around in your data, and so detecting breaches is fundamental for protecting your customers and your business's value, and we do it in a few different ways. We can monitor device and network traffic behavior. We can also monitor the application level behavior in our IoThink platform. But today we're going to go deeper on how AI-powered anomaly detection at the device and the network traffic level can really help. So in a few moments, and I'll hand over to Udi and Noam to pick up that story and explain how we can provide asset intelligence and threat management services in as you'll see, quite a non-intrusive and cost-effective way. But first, we'll complete the framework introduction. The final segment is react. A little bit ironically, the ability to react starts at the design stage. So modeling, for example, or digital twins, that will go some distance to helping you understand how your system reacts to different events, helps you understand what's normal and what's not. So cyber attacks continue to evolve in terms of tactics. Your approach to defend and detect needs to evolve as well, but you need to plan for a breach. Your ability to detect and react quickly will be, ultimately directly proportional to the costs and the damages of the breach. So the approaches to React take several forms depending on the service you're using. For wireless logic, for example, we can provide responses which isolate individual devices in the field. We can update the firmware. We can just turn them off or block them. Receiving and actioning alerts requires system, but also people and processes to develop over time as well. So yeah, that emphasis now, which is repeating technology, people, and processes. They're all equally important. So this was a whistle-stop tour, and hopefully stimulate some ideas in your minds. One final slide before I hand over to Udi and Noam. And so remember, the framework is designed to promote continuous or a 360-degree assessment and improvement of security. It promotes adoption of best practices in technology, people, and processes. It draws on wireless logic products and services, but also from our wider partner ecosystem. One of the main benefits of it is also that it helps our customers visualize and understand the true value of wireless logic products and services and the partner capabilities. And you see those stacked on the right-hand side. So from the bottom there, from Cloud Secure, which is our name for IoT Safe, that thing I touched on briefly at the beginning, through SIM and device management, NetPro, which is our sort of VPN services infrastructure, and then higher up the stack to anomaly detection and IO-Think, and of course 24/7 global support operations is a big part of defend, detect, and react. Today, though, it's about anomaly detection and threat management. So now I'm going to hand over to Udi, who'll say a few words about Shield-IoT. Thank you, guys. Over to you.
Thank you, Ian. Very happy to be here, and thank you for the presentation. My name is Udi Solomon. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Shield-IoT. With me, we have Noam Segev, VP Global Sales. And over Shield-IoT is we're an IoT cybersecurity company, a software solution provider, focusing on enabling enterprises and service providers such as yourself to have visibility, security visibility to what's going on with your network, detect the first signs of unknown threats, mitigate them, and basically adhere to compliance and security standards. Over the next half an hour or so, we will share some of the insights we've learned with the market from other enterprises and service providers we work about challenges we face and how challenges they face and how to best answer them. So thank you very much, and please don't hesitate to ask any question in the chat. We'd be happy to address them at the end. Noam, to you, please.
Thank you, Udi. Ian. Hi, everyone. My name is Noam Segev. I'm the VP of Global Sales for Shield-IoT and a cybersecurity consultant by trade. Today, I'm going to introduce you with our IoT asset intelligence and threat management solution. Just for you to know, this is already integrated with wireless logic. And at the moment that if you're interested in this service, you can just onboard just like you do with the connectivity. But before I'm going to introduce you with the solution, I would like maybe to give a small recap about the security challenges that are related to cellular IoT networks. So there are a lot of security challenges. I will focus on five. The first challenge is that the devices are not designed for security. You know, today we have in a normal network, we have many devices that are coming with built-in vulnerabilities. In their production, there is no proper testing and QA procedures. In most of them, you will find the default weak password like admin or 12345. And most of these devices are not getting the security patches done on a regular basis. Challenge number two is related to the diversity of the devices and their scale. So Think about a smart city, for example. In a smart city, you will have hundreds or maybe thousands of different sensors, meters, surveillance cameras, etc., etc. Right? They will come from different manufacturers. They will be using, of course, different applications, and will be using different different topologies. It is quite impossible or very, very difficult to use an agent in order to collect the data from each one of those devices. The second issue, of course, is the mass scale of these networks. Usually we're talking about big networks with thousands up to millions of different devices, millions if we are looking at smart meters, for example. And the challenge is that we have a big throughput of big data. And the main challenge is to be able to accurately analyze these big data and provide near real-time alerts and response. Now let's focus on something which is really special for cellular IoT. You know, cellular IoT in most cases will be located outside of the enterprise perimeter, which means physically outside of the enterprise offices, and therefore it will be lacking the normal defenses that devices within or inside the perimeter will have. So I'll give you an example. Today I'm working from home in my apartment, and I can just leave you and walk outside into the hallway, open the closet there, and physically tamper with my electricity smart meter, for example. This, of course, also the same thing about electric vehicle charging stations, parking kiosks, street lighting, smart lightings, etc., etc. So physical tampering is a really big problem because you need to know what is going on out there, not inside your headquarters or offices. Now, another issue is that we can actually use those devices. If I can physically tamper them with them, those devices are communicating via the connectivity, the cellular connectivity, into your enterprise control center. And the main issue here with this challenge is that we saw a lot of cases of those devices being used for remote attacks via connectivity. Now you can tell me that right here you have a new generation firewall. However, having a new generation firewall doesn't mean that it's configured correctly. And those devices that are out there in the field, they are approved for communication. So this is a big issue, and we saw a lot of, I'm giving here an example, man-in-the-middle attacks or different other types of attacks which are related to remote attack connectivity, to remote attacks via connectivity, sorry. Challenge number 4 is visibility. And this is a key challenge. Guys, let me remind you that 5 years ago, the only visibility that you had was at the time that you got the bill from the telco, right? Still, although there is a lot of progress with visibility, still visibility is the main challenge. And I will give you here an example, okay? Let's assume that this is your control center, your enterprise control center, and this is your network of smart IoT and devices, all right? You will be able to see the communication which is directed from the devices through wireless logic, okay, and directed to you through the new generation firewall, right? This communication is visible to you. However, if the device is communicating with external malicious sites, this is something which will be invisible to your firewall. I want to give an example. We did a proof of concept to one of the world's largest point of sale operator. And this point of sale operator is lending point of sale devices to shops so they can conduct transactions. Now they have about 130 million devices. We ran only on 25,000 devices. And what we saw immediately on one of the devices was two things. We saw a big jump in the data usage of the device. And we saw that the device was communicating not with a malicious site, but it was communicating with Netflix. Now, what do you understand from this? So we found out that one of the employees in the shops was sitting there. He was bored. There was not a lot of movement in the shop. So he took out the SIM card from the point of sale device, entered it into his iPad, and was watching Netflix. Now, I know it's not a cyber attack, but it's a misusage. And this misusage is generating excessive data usage. And when we came with this finding to this point of sale operator, They told us, every year we're being overcharged $1.5 million for excessive data usage, and we didn't know how to explain it. This is a very good explanation. So again, this is just one example for visibility. The idea is that you need to have continuous visibility over your network. You need to know what's going on in your network. Challenge number 5, which is, it's a bit different from what I was talking about, but it's a very serious challenge today, is the data compliance. Today we have the EU General Data Protection Requirements, the GDPR, and the GDPR is requesting for you to conduct continuous monitoring over your different networks. Now, there are 2 specific articles which are very relevant to what we are offering here. The first article is Article 32 that talks about security and integrity. And what it will be, I don't want to explain everything about the article, but eventually, if a data breach has happened, they will be asking you 2 questions. The first question that they will be asking you is, have you implemented appropriate technical and organizational measures to ensure the security of personal data during continuous monitoring? The second question that they will be asking you is, do you regularly assess and update your security measures to address evolving threats? The second article is Article 33, just next, and it talks about data breach notification. Once you have an indication that you have a data breach, you need to report immediately to all of your customers. And of course, you need to report also to the GDPR community. And regarding data breach notification, they will be asking you a simple question. Do you have procedures in place to promptly detect and respond to data breaches that may occur during continuous monitoring? These are the questions that eventually will be asked. There's no guidance about the technology, but if a data breach has happened, you will need to stand in front of the GDPR committee and you will need to explain how you're doing it. This is how you're going to be judged, right? So talking about these challenges, and there are many other challenges, I wanted to just to give a quick review. I would like to explain a little bit about the solution that Wireless Logic is implementing, right? So just to understand the drawing here, this is, let's say, your enterprise. Maybe you have a SIM SOC, maybe you don't, but this is your control center. Here are your devices. The connectivity goes through Wireless Logic. First of all, the solution is agentless, which means we don't need to deploy anything on your devices. Maybe some of your devices are low power and therefore low memory, and it's even impossible. If you have a network with different types of devices, it's okay. We are device agnostic. We don't care what is the device. From our point of view, any device works. The reason for that is that we are, what Wireless Logic is mirroring to the solution here is the headers of the network traffic statistics. So we are working on the infrastructure layer, and we are totally, we are not seeing the application, the applicative layer that runs on your EV charging station or on your point of sale. We will not see the transactions. We will not see any private information because we are running only on the infrastructure layer, and we are seeing basically how many bytes in, how many bytes out, how many packets in, how many packets out. So only headers of the network traffic statistics, right? Once you have signed to the service, all right, we can actually provide you immediately. We can upload you to the service and provide you immediately near real-time detection. And we can also provide you with an unlimited scalability. So at the moment that you want to add more and more devices to the service, we can stand it. Actually, you can stand on every location. We can stand about 50 million devices. This is because of our Corset AI technology, which is enabling us to handle millions of devices as if we were dealing with hundreds of devices. Once we are mirroring this data, we are providing the security alerts back to your organization. We can integrate into your SIM solution if you have it, so you will have a consolidated view of all of your networks together with your IoT network. So your IT, OT, IoT, everything will come with a consolidated view. And if you're a smaller organization without a SIM SOC service, then we can just give you a user interface that you can use on any browser. All right. So once this solution is implemented, what eventually we are doing? What is the value of what we are doing? So we are operating 4 solution engines, which I will explain to you eventually. The first engine is asset management. The asset management engine is giving you full visibility and continuous visibility into your IoT devices and network. Right? First of all, we have a view that Udi will show you. We have a network visualization that will show you all of the devices, which device is communicating with the other devices, which devices are at risk, which devices are communicating with external IPs, etc., etc. Right? We will show you, usually when you deploy, thousands or tens of thousands of devices, you are losing a little bit your hands and your feet, and you don't know what is out there. We can provide you for every device the asset IDs, different IDs. It can be your IMSI number, IP number, etc., etc. The risk on every device, the communication statistics, the data usage, its location, its attributes, operational data, etc., etc. So this is more operational, but it's also you cannot separate cyber from operational. It will give you a very good view of how your network looks like. The second engine is an AI anomaly detection. This engine is automatically learning what is the normal behavior of each of the devices in your network and the network itself. And whenever there is a first sign of unknown anomalous activity, it can be a cyber activity or operational activity, we raise the alarm, we categorize it to either an operational activity or cyber activity. We show you the forensics, so of how we got into this conclusion. You can, even if you have an analyst, you can go into the raw data and deep dive into the conclusions and see that we are right. And we also give you a recommendation, what needs to be done. And there is a small button on the right that you can push, and then the remediation will be implemented. The third engine is deterministic rules. This engine is enabling you to build your own profile and detect suspicious behavioral patterns which are interesting specifically for you. Let's say, for example, that you are operating now 10,000 devices, and for each one of the devices, you have a program of 10 megabytes per device per month. And you would like to get an alert whenever a device has reached the 10 megabytes data usage, and it's not the end of the month, just as a silly example. But you can really build your own profile and get the alerts according to what interests you. The fourth and the last engine that we are operating is a threat intelligence engine. Basically, here we are combining our own internal research together with more than 90 external intelligence feeds. And this engine, what it's doing is checking for every device with which IPs is communicating with. Whenever a device is communicating with an IP which is known for malicious activity, or with an IP that an IoT device is not supposed to communicate with, such as Facebook, Netflix, Telegram, Instagram, we will raise the alarm and give you the entire data. In case it's a malicious IP, we will also give you the forensics. We'll show you which engines have indicated on it, what are the proofs for, or what are the risks that which are related to that, and of course, what is the recommended actionable item. All of this summarizes up into a regulatory compliance report that your chief information security officer can document once a month, once a quarter, that at the moment that you have a problem with any of the regulatory bodies, you can prove that you are practicing cybersecurity also on your IoT network, and therefore there is no personal liability for this. There's no 100% protection, but they are expecting you to practice cybersecurity and improve over time. So just to summarize everything I said, what are your benefits as an enterprise customer who is using Shield-IoT connectivity and also the threat prevention platform or solution? First of all, we are boosting your visibility and giving you a continuous visibility and full visibility into your IoT, cellular IoT network. We are ensuring GDPR and security compliance because of the continuous monitoring. We are preventing service impact or downtime that are happening because of device malfunction or tampering with the device, etc. We are helping to protect the enterprise by providing early detection of unknown threats that may cause an attack on your control center, a remote attack via connectivity. As a byproduct, you're also gaining operational effectiveness, which means that you will know when you have a malfunction on a device, you have problems with data usage, device misconfiguration, etc., etc. And guys, you're getting it at a very low total cost of ownership. You're getting an enterprise-grade solution without the need to install any agent, to buy any hardware, to maintain the software. It's a service that you're getting together with the connectivity. That's enough for now. I thank you for listening to me. And Udi, maybe it's time to show the actual solution to our guests.
Sure. Thank you, Noam. Let me just share my screen. Okay. So thank you, Noam, for the detailed presentation. And what we wanted to do now is we talked about the challenges. We talked about how we are able to potentially deal with them. Let's see how it looks like in the real world. Okay. So what do we see here? What we see here is basically the multi-tenant user interface, where you see the different devices you monitor, where you see the different events that have been detected, different insights, and really what's going on from a security perspective in your network. It's important to emphasize that this multi-tenant UI, everything you see is also accessible via REST API and different connectors for push or pull. So you can, some of our partners and customers simply pull it to their SIEM-SOC like Splunk, QRadar, and others, really any type of third-party system you're working with. And what do we see here? You can see on the left side, Shield-X. This is a general health score. The higher it is, the better, indicative of what's going on in our network. We can see different types of events over time. We can see the change of devices at risk. These are devices that we found different threats related to them, and we need to address them. And as we will see, we get to see a lot of different insights automatically, no matter if we have 20 devices or 200,000 devices deployed in our network. Let's see, maybe at this point, let's see a few examples I would be happy to share with you guys. So let's take an example of different events that such the platform is able to detect. Let me, for example, select, and in the real world, we see a lot of different events, operational events, sometimes malicious, related to abnormal download, etc., but also a variety of security threats that were detected, crypto mining, DDoS, of course, device takeover, etc., etc., replay attacks. Let's choose, for example, a suspicious IP. Let's see an example of that. And we can see different events where the device has been communicating with unauthorized sites or malicious sites. Let's go inside. And this is a typical such event. And before I dive into this example, Noam mentioned about the visibility challenge, where the device are compromised and simply connecting to malicious sites openly, and nobody is aware of that. And we've seen it continuously. We've seen it going to a remote code execution site, to known malware sites, to financial and banking malware sites, across really a lot of different such examples. And in this case, this is how a typical event looks like. We see on the left side, this is a point of sale device. Payment devices, different types of payment devices are very commonly attacked from what we're able to see. And you can see the different identifiers. This is 4G communication, such as IMSI, IMI, etc. We provide a risk score per each device. The higher the risk score, in this case 96, the more important or a higher priority to deal with it. And what we see here, we don't just, the solution doesn't just that tells you we might have a problem, but this is in fact with very high probability, a critical severity event, where these devices communicate with known malicious site related to exploiting and targeting IoT devices. Note that this was detected not just by the internal research, but also by a variety of external engines and security feeds, making it the probability of this event even more significant. Just to expand, this is a critical severity event, not just because of what took place, but because this happens across different time periods continuously. From our experience, if an event happens once, yeah, we need to investigate everything, but usually enterprises tend to say, okay, it only happened once. But once you see a repetitive behavior, you really need to take care of that, because maybe it's sending credentials, maybe it's stealing data, maybe it's stealing personal identifying information, etc. Okay. Note that the solution also provides the ability to take action. For example, block the communication, redirect it, for example, to a secured APN, throttle it in the case of a DDoS attack, etc. Okay, so this is one such example of a typical event. Let's see now another example. Let me remove the filter, and let's take an example of an anomaly detection event. Okay. Before, I didn't introduce myself. I've been a security practitioner for the last 15 years or so. Back in the day, I used to run Checkpoint, cloud and virtualization security product lines, and most of their advanced threat prevention. And many of us that have come from the anomaly detection field, we know that the enterprise environment is very noisy, sometimes very challenging in working with such solutions. However, IoT, in many aspects, is the perfect environment, because these devices are usually doing the same things, communicating to the same destinations, and really repetitive in their action. Thus, an anomaly detection solution that learns automatically how the device behaves, ports, protocols, destination, bytes in, bytes out, etc., is really able to very quickly identify anomalous activity, like here. And what do we have here? What do we see here? We see an industrial controller. You see the different identifiers on the left side and very high risk score. And we don't just tell you, listen, this is a suspected device takeover, critical severity, but we also tell you why it happened or why the event was triggered. Usually this device communicates via 2 or 3 outgoing ports, while here it communicates via 7. And usually it connects to 1 or 2 destinations. Here it connects to 4. And so this is a suspected device takeover. Note that we also provide access to the raw data that trigger this event, both to facilitate advanced investigation by the SOC teams, or also for compliance perspective. So let me drill down to the actual device to try and understand why we thought that the change in this communication pattern is actually, it means that it was taken over. So in this case, you can see that we can see that this is a device. We see the additional information about that specific device, in this case, a controller. And you can see we provide information related to data consumption trends. Of course, they identify the risk score. And on the right side, we can see really the development, if you'd like, of the attack. First, it started by multiple port scanning attempts. By the way, these are real examples. We've changed the IPs, the identifiers, but everything you see are actually real examples. It started with port scanning attempts. Basically, the attacker are looking for open ports or open windows or doors to get in. You see that usually just a handful of incoming ports are used. And here we see a spike. It's very easy to detect. And after multiple such attempts, we've seen an abnormal download, always a bad sign, okay? And after this abnormal download, we've seen a change in the device behavior. And ultimately, the combination of all these events led us to understand that this device has been taken over, and we recommend to redirect it. In some cases to block, in other cases, certain devices might be critical to the operation and the service provider. And so a different action can take place, not just block or redirect. Now, I want to show you something else. These are large networks. We give simple examples, 2 devices, 5 devices, etc., etc. But in the real world, we're talking about networks of thousands, in some cases, millions of devices. And so we also provide advanced visualization tools to enable customers and partners to really go see what's going on. You can see that this industrial controller, where it communicates to, the size of communication, the destination, here it communicates control center, etc. You can see it per specific device, but you can see it across segments or even across the entire network reaching meaningful insights. Just as an example, let's take a look here. And you can see, okay, this is, you can see here that, for example, you have this industrial controller, EV charging station, and this point of sale that all communicate with the same malicious IP. Now, this is very interesting because this attacker doesn't necessarily target a single device in the network. It actually targets multiple devices in the network. This is a network-wide attack. It's even a higher priority for the security teams to handle. And again, the solution doesn't provide just actionable information, what happened to whom, when, the severity, but also recommended action, such as to redirect the traffic or block it completely. And note that these insights are also available. You can visually look at them, but these insights are also available automatically. For example, via we send us to this case where we see the same malicious IP connected to the 3 devices, making it a very high priority for the SOC teams to handle. Okay, all the information you've seen here, all this data, alerts, a risk associated with the device and the networks, and the insights are all also automatically generated via CSV, via connectors, and via dedicated compliance report, automatic and periodic compliance report that can serve the security team and the business. Okay. At this point, I'll take it back to Ian. So Ian, back to you.
Ian, you're muted.
Thank you, Udi, and Noam. That was excellent. That was excellent. So I noticed we've got a few questions coming in. I've still got a little summary piece that I'll do at the very end, but I think we'll jump into the questions. There are some in there that are, just worthy of a bit of discussion, if that's okay. And the first couple are quite similar, actually. First one says, if it's agentless and doesn't deploy anything on the device, how is the prevention done? So we can cover that one off. Second one's quite similar. I'll rephrase it a little bit. How does the remediation work without the agent? Do you need an integration with some device inside the backbone? You touched on this, Noam, and it's largely to do with the fact we only need to inspect the packet headers, right? But do you want to pick up on that?
Yes. Yeah. So you want to do with me?
I'll take it. You'll take the next one. It's fine.
Great.
So it's a correct question. The solution is agentless, meaning we don't deploy anything in the field. We don't deploy anything on the devices. We understand we provide visibility and the threat detection, but how can it do prevention? So prevention is done by third-party systems, predominantly the connectivity management platform of your connectivity partners, such as Wireless Logic, where you can define a policy. You, as the service provider or the end customer or the MSSP that works for you, can define a policy saying, for example, if I have a critical severity event where this type of device connects to this site, I want to block the traffic. The alert goes automatically to the connectivity management platform, and based on the policy, you can take manual or automatic action. Okay, and so this is how it's done via the connectivity management platform that is able to, for example, block, redirect, or throttle the traffic. Now, it doesn't mean we remediate the device. The device, for example, might still have malware on it, but is not able to create damage, is not able to infiltrate data, sensitive data, is not able to hack the control center or even take down critical services.
Thanks, guys. Okay, we'll look at a different question. What is actually happening, or what might be happening at the point where a device is communicating with suspicious IP addresses? What's going on there? What's the potential issue?
So, assuming I understood the question, when a device communicates, listen, take a device, an EV charging station, a point of sale, a transportation network. It's not like us, we have a phone, we're calling a friend, each time doing something differently. They connect to authorized sites, the service provider or enterprise control center, 1, 2, 3, 4 sites, etc. There's no reason we've seen them going to Chinese sites, to Telegram, all over the place. The only explanation for a device to go to these malicious sites is one. They're already compromised. Remember, they're exposed in the field. You can tamper them, you can hack them. They're not always built with the best security in mind, which is okay. Yeah? And so if they are already communicating with malicious sites, it means they are compromised. Okay. And if they are compromised, A, you want to know about it, and B, you want to take action, whether manual or automatic, based on what you defined. Okay.
So that, Udi, thank you. And I think that's my understanding of the question also. And it covers the story Noam gave around the SIM being used in a different device and streaming Netflix. It kind of covers that scenario, but as well as those scenarios where a device has been compromised and it's connecting to a malware site to, exfiltrate data or maybe download other malware programs. Could be those sort of things.
Yeah, we've seen countless cases. We recently see in a sensitive payments network going to the Emotet banking malware. Now, last time I checked, there's no reason for a payment device to go to a financial malware site unless it has been already compromised. And this site acts as a command and control for this compromised device.
Thank you. Next one we'll take, again, slightly different question. I'm planning to connect new devices in the future. Will this solution also work for them, or can we only apply it to new devices we're deploying? Can we retrofit it to existing devices in the field, or only new?
So actually, it's a straightforward question and it's a straightforward answer. There's no issue. It's what we call future ready. As Noam mentioned, it's context free. It's been applied to different gateways, controllers, EV charging stations, thermostat, transportation system, payments, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, and the same solution can be applied to any number of devices and any number of applications. So let's say tomorrow you as an enterprise decide to deploy more devices or different application, the same exact solution can seamlessly cater for that. All you need to do is advise wireless logic that you want to also have these devices part of the service, and that's it. Check a box, and basically that's about it.
Yeah, good. So yeah, if you've got devices connected on a wireless logic service already, you can apply, as Udi just said, you can apply the anomaly detection service onto those, and clearly can be added onto new connections that you're adding. Which is good. So next one we'll take, again, slightly different theme. How does the solution take the traffic to analyze the anomaly behavior? So that's an integration between our core network and Shield-IoT engines, right? No,
correct. Correct. Basically, Shield-IoT platform is an extension of the wireless logic platform, seamless to you as the end users. The communication flows to the mobile core of wireless logic, where only the network traffic statistics, the headers, if you like, are mirrored out of band to the Shield-IoT platform, where it's analyzed. But in fact, for every perspective, it's like a same solution because it's integrated. And by the way, this way, there's also no privacy issue, because the solution doesn't open the payload, doesn't access the payload, it doesn't do deep packet inspection, only look on the headers. So it's what we call privacy ready. And because it's out of band, it doesn't impact the performance or services. So there is really no risk provide this visibility and threat detection, and ultimately also compliance.
Thank you, guys. So can this is a slightly different area of the solution. Can the platform alerts be sent to a third-party platform or similar, or do I need to use the portal? So I'm guessing behind the question there's maybe Zendesk is being used within the business. Can the alerts be sent to Zendesk or similar, or do customers need to use the portal?
So any way you prefer. In some cases, already today, some customers are using the portal, or larger customers tend to want to have these alerts together with all the forensic information and all the information about the devices, etc., shared to their systems, whether it's a ticketing system, as I mentioned, SIEM/SOC systems, very, very common, Splunk QRadar, so they can continue to work with their existing systems. The platform supports both methods, so you can work with the UI or you can continue to work with your existing systems. As I said, it provides a RESTful API. It has a SMTP support. Different connectors are built, so any type of third-party systems you can, you as a customer, a user, you want to continue to work with, and in this case, this offering is a feed that enters your system. So any way you prefer, basically.
Okay, thanks, guys. I think one more that I think I missed. I'm not sure, and this will be the last question I think we'll take. I'm not sure I understand how the solution is deployed. What do I, as a potential customer, need to do? And I think you answered it already, Udi, right? It's really it's an engagement with Wireless Logic, isn't it, to activate the service over their connections, and you know, they can get started with the portal approach on day one, can't they? It's as simple as that.
Yeah, very important. No need to deploy anything, no need to change anything, not in your devices, not in the field, not in your operations. Basically, yeah, contact Wireless Logic, check the relevant box, and start consuming the service almost overnight. Yeah.
Thank you. So, as I said, I think we just have got a little bit of summing up to do. So we'll pause with the questions there. If there are any that were submitted we didn't get to, then we'll follow up with you offline. There'll be some communications after the webinar, of course. So yeah, check your inboxes. So yeah, I wanted just to leave you with three thoughts. They're listed out here. Number one, you know, the message is that you've got to really assess the safety and security impact of your data and implement security accordingly. I think a simple air quality sensor, let's say, connected over narrowband IoT, might arguably require less protection, or at least represent lower risk compared to point of sale terminal or digital signage or EV charge points, for example. So yeah, I assess your own attitude to risk, you know, according to the application and the economics of that solution. Number two is, yeah, adopt a framework approach and leverage your partners to keep you up to date with the latest technology and the legislation and best practices. It's difficult sometimes for enterprises to, you know, get skilled up and be in touch and be deep with all of these different dynamics. So yeah, leverage your partners and work with a small number of partners. So number three is, yeah, don't forget about people and processes. I emphasize this point at the beginning, but you know, practice makes perfect, as they say. So rehearsing how your teams and your partners respond to events, to breaches when they happen, will really pay off in terms of you know, mobilizing a response and taking those remedial actions that would take, ultimately minimizing the damage caused. We spoke earlier about that 7-month gap between a breach occurring and it being detected. So yeah, using the technology, but yeah, keeping your people and processes up to date are a clear part of it. Okay, so just to finish off, you've heard from a few of us today here, but we wanted to give you a single point of contact just to follow up. So this is me, Ian Davidson, product manager at Wireless Logic. There's my email address. We will also follow up over email after the webinar with a link to the recording and and whatnot. But if you wanted to proactively, request a security assessment, so that in that assessment, what we would do is sit down and walk you through the framework end to end, and start to tease out where you've got the pain points within your infrastructure, within your solution. So that would be an approach. You might have more specific demand for the anomaly detection capability you've just heard from, but that's fine. Go to the same URL, fill in the same form, and we'll follow up with you offline. And so with that, I think I just have to thank you and encourage you to engage with us as part of the follow-up. And yeah, have a good day, and I hope you have a successful IoT experience. Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.